everybody, and welcome to Cosmic Chats. We have a lovely guest today, Carolyn Medina. She is a cosmetologist, comedian, and YouTuber in the Phoenix area. Hey, Carolyn.
Hey, Paula.
So we just want to remind everyone to like and subscribe. And if you have your own YouTube channel, we want to help support you. Pop something down in the comments and we will be sure to go and subscribe back. We're almost there. We just got to get to our 1K. So please, 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 we greatly appreciate that. In the meantime, you'll see that there's this image of Vedic meditation stories. That's an ebook that we have, which is free if you have Amazon Unlimited Prime and Kindle, and it's the only resource in the globe with stories from underrepresented groups about how meditation changed their lives. And every penny goes to the nonprofit. So let's get started, Carolyn. How would you describe the taste of a banana to someone who's never had one?
I would describe it as slightly tart.
That's it then. Okay, everybody, just a slightly tart summation, and that's your banana.
Yes.
Now, when did you have your first existential life crisis as a child?
I was more of like a teenager. I was about 15 or 16.
And what happened?
I experienced like a traumatic event. And then that's like I experienced a traumatic event, and then from there I started to have like some like issues with, experimenting, a lot of stuff that teenagers do, but a little bit more like intense. And then as I got older and through like spirituality and meditation, I was able to get help too.
And for the benefit of those of us who are listening, what did you perceive when it happens? Were you disillusioned by people?
You could say that. I felt like I was experiencing like a lot of PTSD, and I would kind of go in and out of reality, and I wasn't very like in the moment ever for like about 5 or 7 years, really.
And how did that affect you at school?
Oh, it was awful. I dropped out, and I had to go back because I was in cosmetology school. I was working at night, and then I was also in high school, and it was just all too much. So I dropped out, and then I went and enrolled at a charter school that I put myself through, and then so it made it a little bit easier. So I wasn't so involved in like the high school experience.
And as a result of the trauma and going through this event, how have you changed your perception? Has it become one more of forgiveness, or have you become more alert?
I think a little bit of both. I feel like nobody's perfect, and we're all gonna make mistakes, like big mistake or little mistake, and everybody deserves forgiveness. So anybody who's ever like wronged me or wronged somebody I love, I like send them lots of love and forgiveness. But I am also very aware to be careful.
Do you find that you definitely have a completely different outlook from before the event?
I would say so, yeah. It just changes you. It's unfortunate, but I think everything that we go through is a blessing in disguise, and maybe you can't see it maybe within that month or that year, but then as you get a little bit older, you're like, okay, maybe I'm a little bit more empathetic towards people, or maybe a little bit more understanding or forgiving even.
And have you found that that perception has been able to help you in life now?
Yeah, I feel like I'm very forgiving. Like if somebody is really sorry, it's okay to forgive them and move on. And even if they're not sorry, I think everybody deserves to forgive people and forgive themselves and just move on.
Do you find that if you're unable to forgive, that you can feel your body beginning to go into some fight or flight mode, that it's easier for you to now live in a space of forgiveness?
Yes. Yeah, for sure. Yeah, flight or fight is not a fun feeling to have, especially just like going into adulthood and stuff. It's, yeah, you have to be in the moment. able to experience different things and good and bad emotions. So any PTSD feeling is not fun.
And how have you been dealing with your PTSD?
I meditate. I love acupuncture.
And your community that you have now, was it as strong before the event?
No, not really. I think I was a bit of a loner in high school, and I had a lot of hard times like connecting with people just from how different experiences I interpreted. And now that I'm a little bit older, the sense of community is a lot stronger and way more positive.
Do you have, from your experience of community being so important to you now, do you have any visions or desires for how you'd like community to be as you go further into your life?
I would say I really want to be surrounded by people who help to grow and that are like really ambitious people, because that's what I want to bring to the table. Like I feel like I'm a really ambitious, creative, and very forgiving person. I want to surround myself with more people like that, and I already have a circle that these people are that way, but I want to continue to grow it too.
And what would you like to leave for the world with community, or see happen in the world as you get older and your body then passes through?
Sure. My 3-year goal would be to own a salon, like or a creative space. So where maybe an acupuncturist can come in, or a tattoo artist, or another hairstylist or nail artist, lash artist could come in, and we could provide like different services to the community with the overall theme of being like really professional, really sweet, and it's a clean environment, like vegan, non-toxic, all of that. So with that comes education and building other new people out of school and stuff like that.
How do you think is the best way to get people educated with your vision of community?
I think making it like really condensed for people. When I used to be in leadership and I would go see conferences, I always learned a lot from people who made it like maybe 3 points. Like if you could stick to these 3 points, you're good, versus other speakers that might have gone on a really big rant about their mission and stuff. And I left those conferences like, I don't know what you just said. It was so much to take in. So when people really condense what they want and how they're going to get it, maybe like 2 or 3 points, it's so easy to build from that and really learn solid. You know what I mean? Just like, I think that's why the 4 Agreements is one of my favorite books, because it's just to the point.
So with your envision of a salon with beauty and awareness and awakenedness, how does beauty, which is often seen as a very shallow element of life, actually help individuals on a deeper sense about themselves?
Well, I think that everybody wants to feel beautiful, handsome, or somewhere in between. And a lot of times, unfortunately, there are salon spaces where members of the community don't always feel welcome inside. And I know I've experienced that too, like being, a queer person who used to wear their hair very, very short. I used to go into like barber shops, and immediately they'd be like, well, we don't cut women's hair. Well, at the time, I wasn't really presenting very feminine. I was presenting more masculine. So I'm like, well, you can't cut a head of hair. You know what I mean? So my mission would be to invite everybody into the space at a fair price. That way they could feel just great, whether they feel beautiful or handsome. I just want them to feel pampered at a reasonable price. And I think that would take away any like feeling of shallow or not worthy or uncomfortability. It would just be an inviting, clean space for people to be in.
Beautiful. And also include, now as we have mixing of races and cultures, I mean, right now it's straightened out, but this right side will go really, 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 really tight. And I remember as a teenager being accused by family members that I had hair that was, for African Americans in certain areas. And why would I do? And I was like, this is my hair. This is how it happens. For a long time, having my own particular story about having this crazy curly hair that I can't manage. And to be able to go into a salon where it doesn't matter what color of this skin matches this, right? And be able to have people say, come on, I can help you out, is probably, I would imagine, very much needed.
Yeah, for sure. I'd like to think I can do that for people because I've had experiences like working in barber shops with really curly hair, really straight hair. And I always tell people, like, when they come to my chair, maybe they are Black or Hispanic and they say, well, I have black hair, well, I have Mexican hair, well, you have really maybe tight curly hair, how's that? Like, kind of turn it around. And it's a head of hair is a head of hair, and if you've educated yourself enough, then you should be able to handle it. And if you don't, like, I don't do extensions, so I like to let clients know if they want extensions. I at this time don't offer it, but I can send you to somebody that I know would take great care of you.
I think that even within cultures, we can ostracize individuals without them knowing because they have a slightly different hair.
Yeah, for sure. I've seen that before. It's
And
unfortunate. Yeah, it's just something to take note of. And I always like to see, I don't wish people would make mistakes, but when I do see people make mistakes in our industry, I'm like, okay, noted. How can I turn that around? Because obviously, if they're doing it, somebody else might be doing it too.
so what we call that conscious-minded hair styling.
Yeah. Well, I want to call it the kind shop.
Oh, beautiful, beautiful.
Yeah. Yeah. I have like a mission statement and my 3 agreements.
What are your 3 agreements?
It's to always do your best, to be professional, and then we're like just vegan. Always use vegan products.
Beautiful,
I don't
beautiful.
know of
And
anything
that,
that's not vegan in the salon. I'm not a vegan, but I believe in like using sustainable products and like responsible companies and stuff like that. And there are a lot of companies who still use like animal byproduct in their stuff or test on animals, and it's like, it's 2021, you shouldn't have to do that anymore. Do something else.
would you like your salon to be not only a place where people can go where they may not fit the norm, but also a place where people can go and be part of a community, maybe even educational classes?
Yeah, for sure. So my idea would be maybe like 2 or 4 rooms and then one big room in the center. That way we can have like community acupuncture circles or maybe education or different classes. That way we can all connect within our field and then maybe host something like on a meetup at one point.
Healing through hair. I love it.
Mhm.
The world views us so much based upon how we physically appear, whether we open our mouths or not. And our perception of life is very much carried from when we're younger based upon that. And if there is a story that someone has told, they don't fit in, it's not pretty how they look this way. I grew up in a climate that wanted the straight blonde hair, and I had the crazy curly brown hair, and told, do you even brush it? Which, was agony in the morning.
Yeah,
That is an imprint within the nervous system. And that then actually filters how one then goes into the world and is perceived. So we can see people who are really attractive and beautiful, but they have a story that they're not.
for sure.
This is where we have the immediate disconnect of being unlovable.
Hmm. Yeah, it's unfortunate how media and it's like wildfire. It just spreads so fast, all of these little like agreements that people should follow, and it's just not true.
And how was your experience from your cultural upbringing in your family of having hairstyles and placing yourself more within a masculine energy? Did you experience outcast or feeling rejected as a result?
No, I didn't. I just had to find my own like gender identity, and I think I just had to explore that. And I'm so lucky that my parents love me no matter what. They're so supportive. They were supportive then, they're so supportive now, and I have the best parents, so I'm very lucky.
And you spend most of your life in the Phoenix area?
Yeah.
And as a community, is that supportive in that part of the world?
Um, in my experience, yes, because we do have a lot of like gay clubs and a lot of gay meetups, and some areas are not so nice. Like I can remember like going out and like somebody would call me like a nasty slur, whether it be about being gay or something. So I would say more so like it was hard being Hispanic when I was growing up, sometimes because it was very racially charged, like the names that I would get called. But I think every state has something, and it's just all about what you make of it. And now that I'm older, if somebody were to call me that now, I would think, okay, if you have to go to that level to call me something just based off of the color of my skin, then you have bigger issues than I can help you with. Because it's just silly at this point. What's going on? You know what I mean?
Have you felt that there were opportunities you were looked over because of your outsides?
I have always really prided myself on my work ethic, so I'm very fortunate that I have not experienced that. I did experience a little bit of homophobia in a workplace before, but I was actually the manager of the store when this happened. So that gave me the authority to just let them go. And I would have worked with them gladly, but it had already been so many strikes, and then it went to that dark place, and I thought, okay, I can't help you anymore. But even I really so I haven't experienced any homophobia that led to me losing my job. I did experience homophobia as a manager, and an employee was being homophobic to me. But luckily, I had the authority to let them go in that instance. And normally, I would always give people like 3 strikes and you're out kind of thing. However, this person had already had a lot of like behavioral issues, a lot of like different things that were going on. So at that point, I wasn't able to help them. And however, even in that instance, I knew it wasn't personal. She was just kind of picking on something for whatever gain that she thought she was getting, and that's okay. But I try to have a positive work environment. Stuff like that I just wouldn't tolerate.
Are you surprised that it still happens, or you think of it as the norm, even in 2021?
I think it is a little bit of the norm still, because it's different, and people, if something's different, it's gonna irritate somebody, and that's fine. Luckily, there's stronger and stronger people that are getting better with like boundaries, and self-love is really big, now it's a lot different, mental health awareness. So I think as long as that keeps moving forward, a lot of people will feel comfortable and safe speaking up for what's right.
Beautiful. And moving forward with your salon that's going to happen, what would you like to impart to people before we wrap it up?
Would just want everybody to stay positive and love their life. And if you don't, work on it. You have the greatest tool right here, YouTube and your channel. So there you go.
Well, we are so grateful that you shared your vision with us. we have not yet had someone who's had that beautiful vision, and we're going to do everything we can to help support it. Who knows, maybe we'll have some meditation teaching there at your salon as it begins to come forth. Or if you are anyone who's there in the Phoenix area who loves her vision, please reach out. All of her information is going to be in the description. We want to thank you so much for watching, for liking and subscribing. The ebook is there, and we will send much love and toodaloo.